will definitely lose life. Therefore, we'll urge our people out there, especially the organizers of the tomorrow event, they must have what we call protest marches. We have done it as a party, and we have succeeded. Therefore, anybody who has arranged for the event of tomorrow, please do that, so that to protect life and property, as it were. Otherwise, if you realize that yes, this will cause injuries, death, please avoid. Life is important than anything else. Otherwise, with those many remarks, allow me tutasimama tukaribishe Mr. Power, the party leader, atuongeleshe.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, asanteni sana, tukae. Asante. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome all of you to this house, which is called Powerhouse. Welcome to Powerhouse. And though this occasion has taken a little longer than we expected, but it is a very solemn occasion, and it is a very important occasion. And I think the time we have taken here is not wasted. It is time well spent. And I want to appreciate the committee which did this work, even though the courts tried to delegitimize them a little, but they continued with the work because this was a work which the professor believed in and the committee believed in, and they have helped. Though they have not violated any law, they have followed the law strictly, and they have worked closely with the Human Rights Commission. I never heard any of you asking about the Human Rights Commission, but they were the ones which gave the cover for the work which this committee was doing. And I think it is important also to acknowledge them. I also want to say that even though the professor corrected me, he said this process did not start with this compensation. It is true, this work did not start with this compensation. I have been in this country long enough to know the struggles our people have gone through. The struggle started long before independence of this country. There are our people who struggled to bring freedom to our country. They wanted this country to be a free country led by our own people. And when they were struggling, they knew that one time our people will lead, but we were going to lead a democratic society. But immediately after we became independent, now we are African against African, Kenyans against Kenyans, when we removed the British from our country and we became an independent country. There were things which happened, like the Kisumu massacre of 1969, the Wagala massacre, the Lari massacre, the Hola massacre. All these are things which happened when Kenyans lost lives in the struggle for freedom. And I want to thank the President of Kenya for taking the responsibility and saying pole to all Kenyans who have suffered injustice since independence up to today. he is taking the burden on himself to say pole. Now, because Kenyans, a lot of Kenyans have died. Those who did not live during the time of detention without trial might not know how many Kenyans died. Just in the dungeons of Nyayo house here, there was a hell there, where you sat there, you drank your own urine, you call it what? Defecated there, and you urinated there, and you drank your own urine, and people died under Nyayo house here. These were people who committed no criminal offense. They were fighting for independence, for freedom of our country. Some of them were detained without trial. Can you imagine you being taken to jail and thrown into dungeons there? You don't see light, and you don't even know when you will be released, because you don't know why you are detained. The only charge which is there is that for a long time, or over a long period of time, you have conspired with forces within and outside Kenya to overthrow the legally constituted government of Kenya. And you don't know how you are overthrowing the government of Kenya by simply saying that this is unjust. And you are there for years. A day turned into a month turned into a year, and a year turned into years. And you didn't know when you will come out of those dungeons of prisons. And therefore, Kenyans have gone through the struggle. We bore our own brand. We took over, and we bore our own brand. The Chief Justice of the people has told you his part. He played a big part, and many, many Kenyans who are still alive played their part. One time I was in Eldoret, and we were opening an office, just opening an office in Eldoret. And when we started to talk, the late Moses Keino, who used to be a speaker of the National Assembly, stood up to speak. And then as he was giving the microphone to our leader, party leader, Raila Oginga, to speak, the police appeared from nowhere and started beating us up. And we were just opening an office, a party office. You don't know what offense you were making by opening a party office. We were beaten. In fact, my bodyguards left me. They ran to protect Raila, and I was left alone. I was pushed down. People were trampling on me. I thought I was going to die. And a policeman who came, I thought he was going to help me to stand up and help me to run away from the crowd. Instead, he used a big rungu on my arm. I was trying to protect my hand, and my hand was broken. Huh? And somebody was saying that Oburu has never eaten tear gas. That day when the one I think the deputy party leader was quoting, when we went for IBC, and we were there just seated down, and the police started throwing tear gas at us. I was with Kalonzo Musyoka. He lost his car. He didn't know where to go. And then he came into my car, and the tear gas was thrown into my car. So we were being choked with him going towards the UKC up there. His car caught us up there, and he jumped into his car. And that tear gas is, when you read it, it is like your chest is bursting. And that happened to us several times. I cannot quote how many times we have eaten tear gas, including one time in Orengo's own constituency in Ugenya. Raila was trying to speak, and the policeman just came and said, the permit you were given has expired. It has been cancelled. The permit you were given to talk here has been cancelled. So when Raila tried to speak, tear gas, boom, 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 boom. I went into a security car, which took me outside to some place called Savannah. And I was choking in tear gas over the security. My car was lost. I could not find my car in that confusion. I can tell you, people have suffered. People were injured. People died. People died while we were singing. And those ones, some people are asking us, why 2017? Why not earlier? Those ones earlier, if we start going back, maybe somewhere, some other regime, or maybe this one, might be able to just think of saying thank you to them, because you cannot compensate life. It is just a matter of saying, recognizing that these people played a big role in the liberation of our country against oppression. But you cannot compensate a life. That is why today is important to us. As ODM, we have borne the brunt of the struggle for justice for our country. And we are not about to abandon that struggle. That is why our late leader, Raila Oginga, talked to the president. And one of the most important agenda, Fatuma told you, that's the work Raila gave them to pursue the 10-point agenda implementation. And this is one of the most important agenda in the 10-point agenda. Actually, Raila initiated, he told Ruto that we must start by saying thank you, giving something. Whether it is not a compensation, but it is saying thank you to these people. And before he died, this process was started, and thank you, Professor Makau, for the vigor in which you took this matter. And we hope that our people who lost their lives and who were raped, who were sexually assaulted, people who were injured, were hospitalized, some of them are still living with those injuries from 2017 up to today, come up and this process is continuous. When this one ends, we are still going to struggle and still ask for more, but let us conclude what we have. You should not prevent somebody who suffered, and you are telling them, this is useless, don't come up, don't even receive it, it is useless. It is not useless. It is saying thank you to them. You did not suffer, your child did not suffer. You are keeping them in the house. So why do you prevent those who suffered for this country to come out and receive whatever token they are being given now? Let us not prevent those who suffered. Let us take the token, and then we demand more. When a government has recognized that there were some wrongs done to Kenyans, and they have agreed to budget for it, and they have agreed to pay it, to compensate, to pay it out. It is like some little token. There is a cow which has started giving some milk to the people who are hungry. Now, that milk, instead of saying let us milk a little more, you want to use a jaridi saying, why are you not producing more? This is very little. Huh? And yet we have had regimes and regimes who have never even, they always think of doing something about it, but they are not bold enough to even start. This one is bold enough to start. And it is not easy. It is not an easy thing to be bold to start. So let us continue with this. Let us not make it political. Let us use it to thank our people who have continued with the struggle and a luta continua. Let us use Article 37 of our Constitution to demonstrate peacefully. And when you go out to demonstrate, don't deny other people who are not demonstrating with you their freedoms also to do other things which they are doing. Let them also continue with their democratic right to either stay home or to go to work and do other things. Don't carry stones. Don't carry rungus. Don't carry knives. Don't carry machetes. Don't carry pangas. Come out peacefully and demonstrate and give notice to police so that police can give you protection. And our policemen should also be trained to protect people who are demonstrating. They should not. The people are not their enemies. The people are their employers, and they should protect them. But our people should also know how to demonstrate. Don't regard demonstration to be against police. You are telling the people who should hear you, they have failed to hear you when you are not in the street. Now you want to tell them loudly when you are there in the street, and the police have the responsibility to give you protection, but they cannot give you protection if you have not notified them. They don't know the route you are taking, and they don't know the time you are going to come out to demonstrate. You blame them if you have informed them. If you have not informed them, you cannot blame them. So with those few or many remarks, I once again thank the committee. Please continue and be just to everybody. Thank you very much.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda.
Let's be upstanding, tafadhali tuimbe hiyo wimbo. Party leader, I know this song is familiar to you. Daima. Daima. Tuimbe tafadhali. Daima.
Na ukipenda Kenya ujitengane na mambo yenye kuvunja amani. Hatutaki matata Kenya. Wenye nchi Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele. Wenye nchi Kenya kipenzi chetu. Hatutaiacha milele.
Thank you. Thank you very much, DJ. I think this song has reminded you of many years back. That is the Kenya we want. Kenya ya upendo. Yes. Now, I want to make the following announcement before I call upon the person who is going to close this meeting with a prayer. Out there, yeah. Yes. This is what I wanted to announce that the chief is trying to remind me. That we are going to have, I want the members of the press to remain here because there's something I wanted to discuss with you about this particular process. Then we'll have a photo session at the media center, and I'm going to direct how it will be done. And then, can I invite a Gen Z to come and lead us with a word of prayer? Kasmuel Makaure, close the meeting for us.
Good afternoon, and let us pray. Almighty Father, we are grateful for our sovereign nation. We're grateful for our great party under the leadership of our party leader, Dr. Oburu Oginga. We thank you for the panel that has presented the report that begins the first step towards our national reconciliation. We're grateful because reconciliation knows no time frame, no bounds, or no conditions. Just as your love is boundless, does not require any mandate. Thank you for the Republic's president who has initiated this process. We pray that there will be buy-in and there will be succor to the families that were affected. We dedicate this country and everybody who is here to your able hands. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the amazing work that the patriots that are gathered here continue to do. We ask you to give us peace and political stability and to allow us to administer this country in the right direction. For this we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now let's be seated as you allow the party leader, the DPL, and the professor to take leave, and we'll follow.
Nataka lero lero ni lero 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 ni lero.
Then members of the panel can follow. Yeah, photographers tafadhali, let's go for this photo session. Yeah.
Tunasema Kenya mpya inawezekana.
Inawezekana. Leo ni leo.
Na inawezekana.
Inawezekana. Leo ni leo.
Kenya mpya inawezekana.
Inawezekana. Leo ni leo.
Nchi ambayo kuna raha na ustawi.
Inawezekana.
Na inawezekana.
Leo ni leo.
GBH News, what matters to you? I'm Jim Brady, head on BPR and GBH and NEPM live from the library. For the first hour, it's the June edition of Ask the Attorney General with Massachusetts AG Andrea Joy Campbell. From ballot questions, snafus, to suing the Trump administration more than 50 times, she's here answering our questions and yours at 877-301-8970, or just come to the library in Copley Square to ask her a question in person.
I'm Marjorie Eake, and then in the second hour, Mass GOP Chair Amy Carnevale and Mass Dems Chair Steve Kerrigan and our party leaders panel. And on a wet Tuesday, it'll rain Queens as we check in with Martha Wash and Marsha Warfield ahead of their show, It's Raining Queens in Arlington. Finally, we'll open the phone and text lines to hear from you on the biggest story since the brain worm, Trump's reflecting pool algae fiasco. Are you loving this as much as Jim and I? Call or text on BPR Live from the Boston Public Library.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Corva Coleman. President Trump is heading to eastern Pennsylvania later today. He's expected to talk about the U.S. economy. NPR's Franco Ordonez reports the president is looking to turn the page on war with Iran.
Trump will be visiting a Mack Trucks manufacturing plant where he's expected to tout the work his administration has been doing on the economy. This is going to be his first domestic trip since signing an agreement with the Iranians to end the fighting in the Middle East. Republican elected officials have been asking Trump to turn to the economy for months as the midterms approach. And politically, Trump needs this. His approval ratings continue falling to record lows after his handling of the economy. And according to NPR's most recent polling, just 36% of voters say they approve of Trump's overall job performance, while 59% say they disapprove. That's the widest gap Trump has faced during either term in office. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
There are election primaries and runoffs today in 4 states: Maryland, New York, South Carolina, and Utah. NPR Sage Miller reports voters in Utah will be choosing from among several candidates for a newly redrawn congressional seat.
For the first time in modern history, Utah has a safe Democratic congressional seat that could help determine the makeup of the House majority come November. It's also one of the most competitive Democratic primary races Utah has ever seen. The top 3 candidates range from moderate to progressive to aligning with the Democratic Socialists. Damon Cann is a political science professor at Utah State University. He believes this race lays out the choice facing Democrats across the country. Do voters want a party that will stand its ground on policy, even if that policy won't go anywhere quickly, or a party that aims for collaboration, even if that means compromise? Sage Miller, NPR News, Salt Lake City.
A federal judge in Minnesota has quashed some federal subpoenas given to local officials in the state. The judge ruled the subpoenas were baseless, unethical, and possibly illegal. From Minnesota Public Radio, John Collins has more.
The subpoenas by the U.S. Department of Justice sought information from local Minnesota governments during the height of the ICE surge into the state, which led to thousands of arrests and the killings of 2 American citizens by federal agents. The judge said the subpoenas violated the 10th Amendment, which bans the federal government from using its powers to coerce local governments into adopting federal policies. A Justice Department spokesperson said they plan to continue to investigate. The judge plans to unseal the transcripts of the grand jury that led to the subpoenas as early as next month. For NPR News, I'm John Collins in Minneapolis.
On Wall Street, the NASDAQ is down more than 1.5%. Investors are worried about potential interest rate hikes. This is NPR.
Good morning. With the latest from the GBH Newsroom, I'm Henry Santoro. The Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court has thrown out a ballot question that would have enacted the nation's strictest statewide rent cap in Massachusetts. Today's ruling puts the kibosh on the hopes of tenant advocates who are fighting hard for rent control and gathered serious momentum doing so. The Globe reports the ruling comes on the heels of a similar decision last week that saw the SJC toss a question that would have lowered the state's income tax to 4%. The court says the rent control question could not move forward because it would have exempted units that are operated in religious facilities. And layoffs are coming to the Coca-Cola bottling plant in Northampton. The company plans to permanently shut down that facility on December 15th. The Daily Hampshire Gazette reports Coca-Cola filed a notice in compliance with the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act on June 15th, saying that the layoffs of some 175 workers will come on August 15th and then again on November 30th. A note from the company says it's committed to supporting the employees through transition, including working closely with the state to identify new job opportunities. The plant bottles Coke's non-carbonated products like Minute Maid and Powerade. Red Sox Rockies Game 2 of their 3-game series tonight. The 4 o'clock World Cup game today is England versus Ghana, and that takes place in Foxborough. But it may rain and it may be wet. 66 degrees in Boston, 67 Springfield. This is GBH News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Eric and Wendy Schmidt through the Schmidt Family Foundation, working toward a healthy, resilient, secure world for all. On the web at theschmidt.org. This is NPR.
He's Jim Browdy. I am Marjorie Egan. You're listening to BPR and GBH and NEPM live from the Boston Public Library. Thank you. And streaming at youtube.com/GBH News. Going to be back here tomorrow and on Friday. Next week, we are off January 4th week, but we'll be playing our best of shows. And of course, they were just spectacular. Hello, Jim.
Hey there. By the way, I feel an obligation to say Marjorie and I were supposed to be off today as well. We were off yesterday. But when we saw that Jamie was attempting a coup on the show, we decided we had to return immediately. So our schedules are totally changed. It's now time for the June edition of Ask the Attorney General with Attorney General Andrea Joy Campbell. She's here for the entire hour taking our questions and yours. If you have a question for the AG, you can give her a call or send her a text at 877-301-8970. Or if you're here at the library, you can find our colleagues Nicole and Charlie. They would be right there. And they might let you ask a question yourself. Attorney General, it's good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for being here.
So as I just said to the Attorney General before we went on the air, breaking news is always very exciting to us in the journalism business, and we have some big breaking news. The Massachusetts State Highest Court just threw out this ballot question that would have, as the Globe puts it, enacted the nation's strictest statewide rent control in Massachusetts, talking about how it would exempt, because it would exempt units operated in religious facilities. So tell me what you think about it.
We just got it.
Yeah, it just happened a few minutes ago.
Nearly
So
unanimous decision.
Do you understand this any better than I do?
Well, we obviously, when we got the rent control initiative, we certified it. But we, of course, have to respect the court's decision, which ruled against us and said we got that wrong. And the piece that they focused on was the fact that the initiative relates to, part of it at least, relates to religion because it exempts housing used for religious purposes. And we went into the hearing understanding that, but we said to the court at the time the initiative exempts a number of types of housing, including nonprofit housing, and the exemption for religious uses was a minor one within the broader petition. The court disagreed and said that even a minor reference to religion is not appropriate for a ballot initiative. And we were just reviewing this. Obviously, the decision just came out, and I think it was only the second time that the court has reviewed this standard, so it's not like it happens frequently. We were surprised, but of course we will follow the court's ruling and move forward. And this ballot question will not move forward to the ballot.
I want to ask you two things about this, and I don't want to get lost in the weeds for people, but as someone who used to do ballot campaigns, Article 48, which allows for ballot questions, says you can't have a ballot question as anything that appropriates money or relates to religion. From reading, admittedly, just the Globe account of the decision, all that the ballot question did was affirm what the Constitution says. We can't have a ballot question that relates to religion and religious-owned property. So I know it was unanimous. Why is that a violation of anything?
Well,
it seems
based
to
on
be
our
a
quick reading,
reaffirmation of what the Constitution says. But go ahead.
So when we certified it, we thought we were obviously on right legal footing, but based on the decision which just came down from the SJC and our quick review and analysis of this, they determined that even exempting, even a minor exemption here, even if it's a minor issue as we described it, was enough. to say that this relates to religion because it exempts housing used for religious purposes, and thus it cannot proceed.
Okay, one last thing that is not a legal issue is you knew, I don't know from just reading if you were involved, that because of the ballot question, there was an effort with some developers and the proponents to just try to strike a compromise so this wouldn't go to the ballot, something less extreme. Were you involved in any of that at all?
No, I was only hearing about it either through advocates or folks in the legislature or others who are pushing for a compromise, so I have no idea what's going on.
Well, I guess the follow-up question is, we all know, thanks to some brilliant Globe reporting last year, that the legislature is dominated by developers and lots of elected officials who have tons of property who obviously don't like rent control. Isn't it sort of incumbent on constitutional officers using bully pulpits to try to convince the legislature to stay at the table and try to strike? I mean, the polls show people want some form of rent control. Would you or the governor or others try to convince the legislature to continue cutting this deal even though the sword of the ballot question isn't hanging over their head?
That's what the voters should do. That's what advocates are already doing, right? You elect us to put us into positions to do our jobs. Folks obviously have real concerns about affordability in this state, as I do. I'm using the tools of my office that I have direct control over to rein in costs, including through our new housing affordability unit, through some zoning reforms, through the enforcement of MBTA communities, utility cost work, reducing costs. That's directly my purview. The work of the legislature is within their purview, but folks should, of course, demand, as they demand of me and my team, to address the issues they care about the most. I will tell you, obviously, we did not expect the SJC to come down just less than an hour ago, I think, to decertify our certification of the rent control ballot initiative. But we respect the court, as we always do, and we'll move forward in complying with it.
One last ballot question issue. To quote you to you, you just said a minute ago around the rent control thing.
To quote me to me.
Well, you said we got it wrong. You also got the summary on the income tax, the cut wrong, which led to that being struck. Do you take any accountability for the striking of that question and not allowing the voters to have an opportunity?
I always take responsibility. This was a record number of ballot initiatives we received in the office, in the history of the office. It was 47. We reviewed 47 ballot initiatives. We certified 44. 6 were challenged. 3 were successful in those challenges. 3 were not, including rent control, the stipend issue, and income tax. So now I see it as incumbent upon me and the team to go back and to ensure that we continue to improve our processes, our analysis. That being said, no one should expect us to get a perfect result. No organization could. But that being said, we take our jobs seriously and we hold ourselves accountable. And those 3 we got wrong, according to the court. We're going to follow the court's orders and move forward with the rest of the ballot.